one other thing I forgot to mention. So the past couple weeks, I've been trying to get the crank sprocket off and tried a number of different methods to try to pull it off, but it's just been 36 years of heat and dirt that have really just made it glued onto the end of the crankshaft. So to prevent any further damage from trying to pry it off or anything, I decided to use a pretty popular method here in the Z31 community to actually drill into the crank sprocket and then tap 2 holes.
Alright, so would you like to tell our 20 subscribers and anybody else who might happen to click on this video what we're doing today?
Well, I don't think there's anything else to say than I made a mistake. Probably not the worst mistake I could have made, but it's up there. And I'm going to be paying for it in time and money, no doubt. But lots of experiences for the rest of you all to enjoy along with us. But getting into it, you'll see in some clips coming up here that I've been working on getting the crank sprocket off of the end of the crankshaft. The best way to do this is by drilling a couple holes into it, tapping them, and then using a wheel puller to be able to pull it off. Which I did successfully, eventually, after a number of failed attempts. Unfortunately, one of those failed attempts while drilling that hole drilled a little bit too far. So I ended up going through the crank sprocket, through the back plate behind it, and took a nice little chunk out of the front of my crankshaft. Right where the front main seal sits. So if you see here,
let's see what we can get.
There is a nice, almost perfectly machined divot there on the end of the crankshaft. That's exactly where the front main seal is supposed to sit. Obviously seal from oil slipping. So not only is the weight, obviously the balance is off, but it'll never seal again. So the crankshaft is gone. So at this point, we've pretty much got to pull out the motor, and it means a full rebuild. What that means, I'm not sure yet. I got to get the engine apart and see the condition of the cylinder walls, and then I can really start getting into approach. I mean, I'm tossing around possibly new pistons, or tossing around possibly a different cam. We're just gonna have to see once we get in there, you know, what's the best bang for buck horsepower, and you know, it might be time to reevaluate what my goals are for the car. I didn't expect to have to pull an engine out, well, not so soon, but during this process, so you guys will learn a lot more about that as we go along. But for now, basically I've gotten everything disconnected from the top of the engine. I've dropped the pieces of the exhaust below and the drive shaft, so all that really remains is to actually remove the motor mount and drop the trans mount, and we're going to pull out the engine. So on this incredibly hot Friday night here in Tampa, Florida, we're going to get some work done. So it sucks. It's not something I want to continue to dwell on because it is a reality, and it's just time to make the engine work way better than it ever was going to. So if there's any benefit there, I'm going to have a really great end point. But now it's a long process to get there. But it'll be fun. I'll get to learn a lot, and so will you guys. So we'll take you on the journey. What do you think, Justin? Think it's time to get started?
I guess so.
You're going to be great. Like 4 to 6 months.
Dang, 4 to 6 months.
Yeah. It'll be a lot of great extra content. I'm sure everybody wants to see the internals of a VG. Everybody, you know, everybody loves this engine, right?
Yeah, I can't think of a single person.
Dude, all 20 of the subscribers that love Z31 stuff. We're a community. We believe in each other. So, but yeah, that's basically the goal for this evening. We're going to get the engine out, and then probably tomorrow we'll be spending a lot of day on Justin's car. So,
which there will be updates on, because well, recently there's been a lot of like tedious stuff I've been having to do, so it's been kind of pointless to film, but I'm to the point where I can start putting things together finally. I laid out the harness, started making fuel lines, so I'm hoping to get the car started by, you know, next couple of weeks. So yeah, I guess we're pulling an engine out.
Yep, we'll set up the camera. Let's get some good time lapsing. All right, folks, so by now you are aware of my sin. And nobody is more aware of my sin than me, but I'm going to try not to focus on it and just try to find the silver lining and think about how great the engine is going to run once I fully rebuild it. But in order to rebuild it, I got to get it out first. So I was working this weekend to basically take off everything from the top of the engine that would need to be removed prior to pulling. So I got the power steering pump off with the reservoir, got the alternator out. I removed the 2 front fuel lines, also the coolant hoses here that were on the front of the engine. I also removed or unplugged and tagged the harness. So now everything's labeled. When I put it back together, it should be a lot nicer, a lot easier process. Also removed a couple other just like lower harness pieces for the alternator. And I think everything is basically out for the harness and the top of the engine. So now I'm going to jack up the car, get underneath it, drop the, got to drop the downpipe. I need to actually pull the drive shaft, and I'm going to go ahead and drain the clutch line. So once I'm actually ready to pull the engine, I will actually drop the trans mount, but I'm not going to leave it suspended until we're ready there. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and jack up the car and get to work. Update y'all soon. Alright, so taking a look at what we're working with down here. It's actually been a while since I've been under the car like this. Gonna drop the downpipe here. Gonna drop the mid section of the pipe as well. This is the CM Performance 3-inch full turbo back exhaust. It's been a great system. Hopefully, since it's only been up there for about 1.5 years or so, it shouldn't be too hard to take out. Oh, maybe it's 2.5 years. Beside the point. But I'll drop out the pipe here, and then there's a plate. Try to show y'all. Kind of sits above it that blocks the drive shaft here. So I'll get that dropped down, and then I should be able to remove the drive shaft. It'll be fun. Well, it wouldn't be a project Justin and I are working on. I also got to cut something out. Yeah, one of these bolts in the it's like drive shaft protector plate thing just would not come out. So that's in the car forever.
Alright, so it's the next day, and it's been a rough one.
It's been absolutely like the worst morning in a while.
So last night we got pretty much everything ready to take the engine out and realized that the hydraulic piston in the lift was bad. So we're like, okay, well, no big deal. We'll go to Harbor Freight in the morning. I got to get a new Dremel anyways. So we get to Harbor Freight. They do have the hydraulic piston. So good so far. And they're out of Dremels. How's Harbor Freight run out of Dremels?
They were out of Dremels last weekend too. So
this is 2 weeks in a row. They haven't had a Dremel. So we're like, okay, well, before we get breakfast, we're going to go to Home Depot. So we go to Home Depot. Home Depot's out of Dremels. Like, what?
At least sub $100 Dremels.
What part of today's climate makes people think, I'm just gonna go buy a Dremel? I don't understand. So finally we go to Lowe's. I end up getting another Dremel. So this is the second Dremel I've got from Lowe's. After the first one I got, I was dumb enough to get a battery powered Dremel, which sucks. So we got a Dremel, and then we're like, all right, we're gonna get some breakfast.
We're teetering right at 10:30, right? So we're like really rushing to.
So we kind of decide on Taco Bell breakfast, and we got like 10 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, we can make it. So we get there with like 3 minutes to spare, and we pull up to the drive-thru, and that Taco Bell doesn't serve breakfast.
So we got lunch at like 10:30, which was okay.
It's pretty whatever.
They got my drink wrong, and then they asked me to take the survey, and then I took the survey before I actually tasted the drink, so, oh well.
Yep, and then, so we were like, okay, well, we'll just throw the hydraulic piston in the new hoist, or the new piston in the hoist, and we'll be good to go. We'll pull the engine out, no problem. Apparently, it's not a drop-in fit. So, yeah, we had to grind out the inside, and it's been a rough morning.
Yeah, we had to go to Harbor Freight again to get a grinding wheel and some more cut-off wheels.
And it's really hot outside.
It's so hot.
It's like ridiculous.
The engine is still in the car.
We've done nothing since last night.
We put in a lot of effort, but it doesn't look like much.
This is exactly how you left it.
Yep. At least last night, so.
I think now we're finally going to get to taking out the engine.
The transmission's dropped. All of the interior stuff is removed from the shifter area. Shifter's been removed. There is the one NOx sensor on the side that I haven't been able to get the connector off due to where it sits next to the passenger side motor mount. So we'll try to take that connector off once we get it.
Alright.
Glory.
Finally. Anything you'd like to say?
I thought that would go a lot faster.
I did too.
It's so hot.
God, it's so hot.
I hate to constantly complain. It's just really bad right now. But really happy it's out. I can finally get started on it. It's been weighing on me the last week, so we'll start with getting the manifolds off, taking off the heads, and seeing what we're working with inside. But
that's probably going to be in the next video.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys up in the next one.
Yeah. So, you know the drill.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Stay in the AC.
Stay in the AC. Hydrate.